Sorry. Dude from Norway, greetings. So I come to Periscope and I talk about internet safety, and first thing is that I provide rules for how I handle my broadcasts. So one of the things I was just talking about regarding technology and behavior, it starts with the contract. Everything that you do that's connected to the internet is based upon a contract. Now, I am a strong advocate of reading documents that wind up putting your signature on that could wind you up in a court of law, because that's when you're putting your signature on there, it's good to know what you're signing. So whether you're signing a mortgage or you're getting a car or whatever it is, it benefits from reading it. But in the world of the internet, it's so easy. We just click this I agree and we enter into a contract and we make these assumptions. Did I freeze? Oh no. We make these assumptions. So I was just talking about the super heart kind of thing, in that everybody wanted to jump on this bandwagon to contribute super hearts, to receive super hearts, and there was an entire contract upgrade as a result of them doing the super hearts. Now, people just read a snapshot of the terms of service, but they don't read in detail the terms of service. But they're making assumptions. And they're making assumptions out of ignorance because they don't read the total breadth and depth of what is being read, what is being provided. So I really say, if you haven't read it, you have no basis to make any statements about it. It would be like me expecting you to review a movie and give me a recommendation on a movie that you've never even watched. How much sense does that make for you to provide advice and or criticism on something you've never watched or never read? This is very prevalent in academia, that people are doing critical book reviews of a book that they've never read. It blows my mind. But anyway, so I come in here. First step is I say you entered a contract when you come into the broadcast. I enforce the terms of service of that contract, which is how I manage the conversation inside of here. Be respectful. No profanity, because I have young children listen. Please do not type three-letter agencies in the broadcast. I interact with them, but that invites a problem for you. When you type those three-letter agencies anywhere on social media, you put a bullseye on your back. You may not understand what that means. I try to provide education so people understand what that means. I am not here for social media celebrity. I don't give a rip. I'm here about speaking truth about internet safety for the sake of our children and our future. That's why I'm here. I don't need your hearts. I don't need your likes. I don't need your follows. I don't need your shares. I need you to consume what I speak about and use your voice and say, is this guy nuts, or has he got some truth in there, and that these kids are at risk, and I need to influence people to say, we're going down a dangerous path, and it's a path of no return. So also, because of the Super Heart campaign, I leave my Super Hearts open for people if you want to donate to Periscope and to Twitter for a broadcaster like me coming here. I am ineligible to receive Super Hearts. I will never be eligible to receive financial reward from Super Hearts. But I leave it open, because if you're interested in having your donations go to Periscope or Twitter in recognition of my broadcast, that's cool. I don't know if that will ever happen. My Linda DiCarlo, greetings. Okay. I think I've been clear on that. Let me go to the next place. The other day, I was sharing that people have been asking me about my broadcast and how I do this and the OBS training. I just repackaged the OBS training for people that were interested in it. You can go back to yesterday's broadcast, and I provided a coupon code for people that were interested in it. Thank you for those people that were taking advantage of that. If you want it, there it is. And then also, my friend Gab. He is fantastic. He was on a roll this morning. Yes, the OBS is working. You have to, in order for OBS to work, you need to uninstall the app Periscope and then reinstall it. There was a little glitch when they did the update, and that's the way you get through that. But let me get... So what I wanted to talk about specifically is internet safety, 10% technological solutions, 90% behavioral solutions. When you make the decision to go online wherever you do it, on your smartphone, on your tablet, you do it on. Oh, awesome. Very good, Party Planner. You are identified. You are doing every step you take online is anchored by a contract. First thing out, you have a contract with your smartphone provider, your internet service provider, and the device in which you're using. The digital signatures that attach to all of your digital connections. It's freezing? Gosh darn it. Is anybody else freezing? Anybody? Give me a 1 if it's freezing. How bizarre a world. Oh, okay, it's not freezing. Maybe it's freezing for some. But Eric, we know this. I mean, it's freezing for a bunch of you? What is going on? I'm trying to see. Maybe. Oh, it's good now. Okay. All right. Let me tell you why this topic is important to me at the moment. Last night I had a multi-person live video conversation, and it was discussing things about the deep dark web. And I said, the deep dark web is not a place that anybody should go. Because if you cannot modify your behavior on Facebook or Twitter or in other private social media platforms, if you can't modify your behavior in those platforms, what hope do you have of modifying your behavior in one of the most dangerous places on the internet? You can't protect yourself enough with what you're doing on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and in Brax. If you can't protect yourselves there, what is the logical possibility that you can go into the depravity of online and be safe? Because people can find you right now. But you know what other kind of people are in those deep, dark, evil places? And do you think that people that are in there want to love you and cuddle you? Or do you think that they want to do other things with you? Not only are corporations there, not only are governments there, but there are nefarious characters there. And if you venture into depravity, the depravity is going to stick to you. It's frozen. Let me shut this down. I don't know why it's freezing. Well, some of those people that are commenting there that it's frozen, this is a consistent, normal, intermittent behavior for Periscope. So, Tony, are you experiencing the freeze? Tony, Tony and Dawn, I trust you guys. If it's freezing, I will replay. It's not freezing for Jennifer. And Jennifer is not a troll. It is messing with you. The broadcast is messing with me. No, it's not freezing. Okay. Well, no, I know you're not a troll, Tony. Okay, so the catalyst for this conversation is that it's intermittent. Okay, thanks, Intergon. That there is technology out there, 10% technology, that you can utilize to help you become less visible for where you're hopping online. I'm going to use the word onion pie because onion pie is a description of software and hardware that, based upon the combination of those two with Wi-Fi and MAC address programming issues, that you have an increased ability to get less visible. You get less visible. Oh, that's a great question. So don't pump hearts. I don't need hearts. I totally don't need hearts. So that might be helpful. Yeah, don't heart the broadcast. That's a big thing because there's a lot of, your battery gets sucked down when you tap on the screen. I don't know if you knew that. Consumes a lot of energy when you tap screen. No, they don't. So when you try to reduce your visibility online, you are going into a dangerous place. And let me just tell you this. It's called Rule 41. Rule 41, nobody's read it. Nobody has studied it. Nobody understands the power of Rule 41 and the enactment of 41. And I'm like, people are asking me questions about this. And I said, listen, I can talk until I'm blue in the face. I can give you all of the evidence you possibly want about here's the problem when you go online. But are you going to change your behavior? No, you're not. Myself included. You're not going to change your behavior because you are comfortable in what you do. That's why it's 10% tech, 90% behavior. Are you willing to change your behavior? If I'm overweight and I'm enjoying what I eat with the pasta and the high fatty foods, and I enjoy that, the comfort food, I'm going to suck down a bag of Doritos. Am I going to modify my behavior because I'm putting on a few pounds? Many people are not, myself included. If I enjoy a couple of beers and it puts on a couple of pounds, am I going to change my behavior for that level of comfort? Probably not. Am I going to get up every morning at 6 o'clock to go up and exercise because I need to combat what I'm doing on my dietary intake? Probably not. This is all behavior. We're comfortable. Wouldn't it be better to get up out of the couch and walk around the neighborhood as opposed to sucking down 2 hours of stupid entertainment and TV? Would make sense, but I'm comfortable. So why are we under this delusion that everything is going to be okay by doing nothing? Right? So people say, Ryan, why don't you talk about this? And I go, excuse me, sir. Every day I start my broadcast and I say, you enter a contract. Whenever you come into my broadcast, you're listening on Periscope, you entered a contract. You clicked I agree, and you've read nothing. All your opinions about what's going on in here, what's happening with kids, what adults are doing, the trolling, the angering, those are your opinions, which mean nothing. Because the platform has no ability to do anything about it because they own the platform. If you don't like it, leave. Either an unfreezing cast or one with intermittent freezing of variable intensities. I don't think it's calling me out, Tony. I just think this is an issue that's happening on Periscope right now. They've been doing a lot of things. So I participate in back channel communication because of my silver VIP, which means nothing to me, but I see some of this conversation and hear what others are experiencing on Periscope. I don't bring those conversations into the public domain, but I do talk with some other people about what's happening, and it's so I'm a rebel. I'm a rebel, and I understand what the platform is. I've read the terms of service, and I tell people over and over again that when you go in, if you haven't read the contract you signed, any opinion you offer about it or any criticism you have about it, you have an option. You either suck it up, Buttercup, because this is the contract that you agreed to. Yes, I said suck it up, Buttercup, or leave the platform. So I'm not. There was a broadcaster out in New York, and I didn't listen to his whole broadcast, so this is out of context. But I'm not negating what I'm just saying. Ron Waxman, up on top of buildings, talking about Periscope's super hearts and saying it's not a scam, it's a scheme. And I thought, well, that's a pretty good way to present that. It isn't a scam. It's a scheme. It's a structure. It's a business process. I don't know how many of the 71 pages of the terms of service that happened during that update that he read. I have no idea. I've read them. I don't know how many people have read any of the terms of service and are voicing their concerns and opinions about them. But he was bringing up some salient points about the program itself. But you know what? If dreams were wishes, unicorns and rainbows would be around us all the time. Us making comments about the coulda, shoulda, woulda about what happens inside of a platform is us just shouting at a wall that nobody's going to listen to us. They have no obligation to listen to us. If we're not happy with the service we're providing, we have a decision. We stay here or we leave here. Thank you to my friend Marcel from New Media Radio in giving me some additional wisdom to say, just use the platform the way the platform was intended and take your content and talk to people about it and then give them an area that they can listen to it elsewhere. Make it your content. I've made it my content since day one. It has been my content, not copyright in the way that copyrightable, because I know I can't enforce copyright inside of Periscope. Actually, there's a guy in California that I need to consult on this because somebody's bringing up some pretty creative mistruths about copyright in Periscope. Let me just throw this out at you people. This is a legal thing that nobody reads this stuff. They make up things to make themselves feel good. I do the broadcast. I own the broadcast. No, not true, people. For you to own the copyright, you have to have control of your content. Controlled distribution of your content. Let me say that again. For you to have something copyright enforceable, you have to have controlled distribution of your content. You have no control over the distribution of the content in Periscope. My proof for that is you can share it on Twitter, you can share it on Facebook, and other people can share it to their other social media platforms. That is not controlled distribution. The only way you could possibly control distribution is to do a private broadcast. However, because people have the ability to do screen recording and Egg-Drop can save and Fullscope can save that recording, you are still not able to control the distribution. So even if you were trying to do something that was copyright protected in a private broadcast, because these other APIs are inside, you do not have controlled distribution, and you lose the copyright. Now, unfortunately, people, that's based upon the law. That's not based upon your opinion. That is the way the platform it is. And the way the terms of service are written, people don't understand. They're not attorneys. First of all, they're not going to read it, but they're not attorneys, and they don't know how to navigate this. I want to tell you that that same statement works with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all of them. All of them. So it's a problem that nobody understands. Hold on one second. Michelle's getting them.
Okay, for Bailey too?
Yes.
Okay. And Mom said we have to leave around 12.
Okay.
And also, will you take me to Bailey's later? He's not home yet. I've been showering and getting ready.
Okay. Love you. So I had my daughter here just popped in to do. Oh. Did I share with you what we're doing? I've made arrangements for in 2 weeks to go to this place that we're going to have my daughter and her friend cut my hair, and we're going to live stream it at the it's called a razor bar. It's one of the very few places that do straight razor shaving. So I talked to them about, can I have my daughter and her friend come in and cut my hair, and then right afterwards have the technician shave my head. And we've been going back and forth. So the owner said, well, as long as you're not on any blood thinners, yeah, that would be a cool thing to do. So I have to call them back and schedule when I can get my head shaved, because it's starting to come out. It's not coming out fast. It's just starting to come out. And I want to be proactive because I don't want to. I keep telling my wife, if I lose my hair, this is going to be like, I'm going to need sunglasses on my head because it's going to be this big white glowing orb, and I need to find a way to get some color Pantone on my head fast, because I don't want to be walking around like some radiating chrome dome. But that's going to be pretty fun. So the conversation that I had with several people in this room, and there were people coming in and out of the room, and they were saying, listen, I've been told that if I get this piece of equipment and then I can go on this network through this router, that nobody will know what I'm doing. And I'm saying, that's not a true statement. Now, first of all, you're not allowed to buy that piece of equipment. That's against the law. Yeah, my kid's very important to me. So let me make a point to people. Here's another contract which nobody reads. It's called the Open Source End User License Agreement, the GNU Public License. There are places like SourceForge and GitHub where the open source community creates software that can be used, and there are projects and teams that people are constantly working on this software. But you are not allowed to transact on that software. The license is pretty specific. Now, not too many people have spent the time to go through and read through the terms and conditions of that license. But you cannot create a rational dodge that, well, that's because don't tap the hearts. Don't tap the hearts, Lily Bell. If you have the software and you buy a piece of hardware and you load the software onto the hardware, because you're performing that service, that you can charge money for the labor of loading on the software onto the hardware. That's transacting on the software, because you're providing a bridge between the hardware and the software to get it together. You're calling that an integration service, or you're calling it whatever you want to call it, but you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to sell open source software. You can sell people assistance on how to take the open source information and process on how they can do it. You can offer a consulting fee for here's where you go buy this product. Here's where you can get the instructions on how to load this software. If you need assistance in going through that, well, you can pay me $10 an hour or whatever to help you do that. Oh, okay. That's a good way to do it. Now, if you are transacting with hardware in software to go get a device that gives you this 10% technology solution, you're not addressing your 90% behavior. What is your reliability on what is on that piece of hardware and what's on that piece of software unless you do it yourself? You have to assert a whole bunch of trust. And I'm not saying trust everybody, trust no one. I'm saying that if you're putting your faith in someone else, whoever it is, I don't care, in me, I have the ability to help people take some of these steps. Not publicly. I will never do this publicly, because here's my concern. I don't know if somebody is good or bad. I have no idea. I know that there are a bunch of people that are taking advantage of this particular technology solution that is being offered out there that is actually going to cause harm. They're going to cause harm with it. They already have 15, 20, 25 different aliases, and they're causing harm on one other platform. Here they're given the tool, power, and a resource to go out and create more harm. So I'm not a big person that wants to put a weapon in the hand of somebody that's already causing harm. That's just me. That's just me. Let alone put myself in a legal crosshair in violating GNU public licensing, and knowing that people are not modifying their behavior. You're giving them a false sense of security that they're going to be safe by just plugging this app in. That is so not true. All you're doing is, by taking this solution, you're going to make these people at greater risk. Greater risk. How many people remember Napster and LimeWire? Give me a 1 if you remember Napster and LimeWire. Two very well known peer-to-peer networks. Napster and LimeWire were a way for people to believe that they could get music downloaded from other people's servers, hard drives, for free. They were violating Digital Millennium Copyright Act. The person that was hosting the music was violating the law. The people that were distributing the music were violating the law. People consuming it were violating the law. Now, you don't ever know when you will be caught in the crosshairs of that law. You download one, maybe not a problem. Download 100, maybe not a problem. Download 1,000, maybe not a problem. Maybe it's 1,001. And then you get that notice from ASCAP, BMI, MPAA that says, you violated the law. And you're running scared like, well, everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is doing it. Doesn't escape you from the consequences of having broken the law. If you are to go into this world because you believe that you can search and see and query and gain access to information, and you think that piece of that dongle is going to protect you, when the people's eyes are much more focused on you because of Rule 41, ex-director Comey said, there is no reasonable expectation of privacy when you connect to an IP address. What that is saying is that if you have a desire to achieve privacy, we want to know who you are because you are going against what we want you to believe, that there is no reasonable expectation of privacy. So those people that are taking the active steps to hide themselves have increased their risk. Did you hear that? Those people that are taking the steps by taking 10% of technology, not addressing the 90% of behavior, are going against the wishes of the government and the corporations, and you're automatically increasing your risk. You are saying to you and to you, thank you, Brandon. So, in response to those people that were in my chat room last night, popping in, asking these questions, and I said, listen, I say this over and over again. Well, where do I learn about this, Ryan? I'm like, first of all, you listen to me a lot, so you're learning it when you're listening it to me, but I can't get people to click on a mouse link. So they don't really want to learn. They want to hear and participate in the broadcast, but they don't really want to learn because they want, I got an app for that solution. They don't want to address behavior. And again, I'm not faulting anybody. I'm just saying this is human nature. And I've got the same human nature as everybody else. I got my own head trash. But I was saying to these people, go to my profile. Swipe up and look at my profile. There's 2 links. You want to learn more about what I teach and all the lessons that are there, go there. If you want to help me propel my message further, go there. Or just sit and listen to me. Or continue doing what you're doing and say that your complaints don't matter. They don't matter. You're here. You've made a decision to come into the platform. I don't like how Periscope is doing this. I don't like how there are young girls in here. I don't like how there are so many predators and perverts that are doing this. I don't like it when this anal raping child person comes into my broadcast and does some disgusting things. This is where we are, people. It's where we are. We can either work within the confines of what this world is, or we step outside of it. For Ryan of Parent Dome, I come to Periscope with a clear, distinct, focused mission to educate and bring truth backed by evidence for you to reconcile it for yourself. You want to disagree with me? You're not disagreeing with me. You're disagreeing with the evidence that I bring forward. It's like my friend Simon. I'm not arguing about Islam. I'm not talking about Muslims. I'm talking about the text. If we're going to disagree with something, let's go to the text. I don't care about the opinion. Let's go to the evidence. What does the brain science say when we consume pornography? What's happening to our brain? What is the programming of gamification and creating addiction in the brain of people? The brain chemistry. What's going on with the brain science? Not opinion. Let's just go to data. And then as a parent, do we want to reject objective data? Or do we want to just say, I got that child safety app. And yeah, my kid allows somebody else to get their Snapchat stories and share it. And I even be. So I am going to suggest to those people that I know, like, and trust, that if you are being tempted to acquire a piece of technology that gives you the perception that you are safe, I would say ask yourself this question. Is your current behavior online safe enough that if you go into a deeper place filled with more criminal and more horrible activity than anything you've ever could imagine than on Periscope? Not that you see it, but you're entering into a stadium of strangers that are looking at you, and you don't know any of those people in the stadium. Is your behavior so strong inside there that you can repel or even be aware of the corporation, the government, and the nefarious characters? And I'm saying, if your behavior is not at least 70%, I would encourage you not to venture into that hallway. Not to venture into that hallway. Now, let me just say this from a personal standpoint. Yes, okay, Tony. Yeah, I appreciate that. Let me say it this way. I am familiar with those dark places on the internet. Because as an activist and an interventionist, I need to go there in order to do the Black Lives Matter, in order to help restore, rescue, or save people. I need to use tools that are available to me that are not public, that are more... Oh, shoot. So, because of what I do, I know I am visible to governments. I know I'm visible to corporations as my alias, and that I can receive direct threats because I'm in that sphere. But my behavior is not at 90%. I'm pretty high, but I'm not at 90%. And I put out a very strong defense from the evils that are in that place. And I will get direct threats. People have seen it, they've heard it, they know about it, and the direct threats are not pleasant. Not pleasant at all. And I am one of the more secure people that are using these devices, tools, and resources to protect myself. So I would venture to say, from the majority of people, if you have 100 people in a room, I'm going to be one of the people that is going to be the most secure in that room. There may be a couple other people, but I'm one of the most secure. But I am also, because of my messaging, I will be attacked. People that are making recommendations that have not experienced the attack because they know how to be more secure than you, they don't have the vantage point to know what attack looks like. You don't know what that harm looks like. When I go by my rules and I say don't type 3-letter agencies, because people, you don't know what that means. You have no idea. You haven't read a story. You don't know an individual. You don't know what the black van's showing up. You have no clue what your life looks like. I've dropped names in my broadcast to help people that if you want to peel the layers across to know what people look like, what it looks like when the Black Hawk helicopters are coming around, what does that look like? That's not common media, people. I know, Eva. And that's one of the reasons that I am such a huge proponent for people that have certain messaging that have certain things that I want to help them become safe, because they have no idea. When you get into those crosshairs, you have no idea what that will do to you emotionally, physically, and psychologically. No idea. And you're not equipped with the knowledge of the law on what to do or not do. So why are you putting a bullseye on yourself that you don't know the law, you don't know contracts, you don't know this wild west that's going on, you don't know the stadium you're going into, and you think this little piece of technology is going to keep me safe? Bull crap. Bull crap. Because somebody knows how to do it and how to be pretty darn safe. Somebody knows how to do it because they've got 40 some odd years of how they've been able to create Alias and no software and to create all this security and defense for themselves. The fact that they know how to do it and they know how to manage their behavior, they're not educating you how to modify your behavior. They're saying, here's a dongle. This will take care of it. You will be safe. Not if you don't do it your 90% of your behavior. That's smoking crack. That's smoking crack. And you want some names? I'm going to give you some names. Sibel Edmonds, Boiling Frogs. Read it. Julia Davis. Read her. I'm not going to go more than that. These are people that their lives have been disrupted and imploded and violated because when those letters attach to you, it is a nightmare. Because if you've ever watched Cop Watch or Cop Block or some of these people that photography is not a crime, and people that know the laws, when you're interacting with a regular policeman, that can go sideways, but it can go pleasant. When you interact with the sheriff, that can go sideways or it could go pleasant. But when you get involved with the three-letter agency, that's not going to go pleasant. And you need to find a way. There's no way for me to impress upon this because people are going to say, Ryan's a tinfoil hat. I'm like, no, it's not tinfoil hat. I got my own experience. I've had my own experience from 1985 and to what happened in my other career. I'm an advocate, people. I'm an interventionist. I'm here to rescue kids. And I'm not your kid's parents. I'm not your kid's parents. I'm not going to be talking to that kid on Periscope or Snapchat. I'm not talking to them. I'm finding a way to get to the parent and say, parent, do you have any flipping clue what's going on? And block, shut up, predator, perv. I can't pierce the conscience because that 90% behavior is, nobody wants to look at the 90% behavior. They're going to blame the application, blame Periscope, blame Facebook, blame Twitter. Did you know that Twitter had a trending hashtag based upon something that was happening in a conservative-minded movement, that they took down the trending hashtag? Twitter censored it. It was trending, and they didn't want it to trend, so they took the hashtag and shut it down. This is controlled communication that is not just a one-off. I pray that people will heed me when I say 10% technology, an app for that, is not helpful. And that just taking the gentle steps to modify your behavior, what you say, how you say it, where it is said, is more important than anything else. Eva, you did a very good thing last night in your scope because there was a comment that came out in your scope that was could have been confusing. And you clarified it, particularly to those people that are connected to narcissists and the relationship between the parent and the child and extension. You did a great job clarifying that. And when we are on this platform, we have to understand our role and who our audience is. And that the world are strangers. The world is strangers. Everybody coming into that scope is a stranger. And therapy is a one-on-one patient-client conversation. But that therapeutic experience is coming into the social domain because people benefit from this public disclosure while they think they're doing it privately. It's a delusion. But this is becoming a new normal. A new normal that people can come in and say whatever they want, and they can't imagine the public and the permanent and the consequences. In her broadcast last night, Eva was with Jackie and Dr. J, and they were talking about anxiety, depression, and narcissism. There was a woman that came in who had 44,000 followers, 8 million hearts, 0 broadcasts, and was complaining about their husband who is taking their words out of context and causing harm. And one of the questions was, could I tell my story publicly? I'm like, people. If you say it publicly, you have the freedom of speech. You absolutely have the freedom of speech. But you do not have the freedom to avoid the consequences of how you may use your speech. That is the delusion in which the internet thrives. I can say whatever I want, but don't hold me accountable for what I say. That's the 90% behavior. That technology is not going to protect you from your behavior everywhere you go. Can I tell my story? Yeah, you can tell your story. Doesn't make you may not be liable for slander and libel in how you tell that story. But if you create a legal fiction and you create a fictional story, even though there may be similarities, but you're going to disclaim that no names, I'm using any names to protect the innocent, this is a story, you can tell your story through a metaphor and a fictional story that will survive slander and libel. But will you do that? No, because you want to get a dig. You want to dig. I have a friend. Exactly, Eva. See, we have this cosmic sense that we have the right to justice. I got it off the charts. I have a huge sense of justice. Justice is not mine this side of the veil. I have to work on my own behavior. I have to work at my response to other people's behavior. In this technology, we don't have many filters or gauges to reach in our brain and to press that pause button and say, oh my gosh, somebody just said this, I need to respond. Somebody just said this, I need to respond. We don't type, edit, then send. We just type send. Text, send. Text, send. There is no edit, review process. Pause. Am I communicating clearly? We don't look at our behavior. We're impulsive. And again, I'm including myself in this. So my point in why I'm bringing this discussion is that piece of technology, that dongle, is a red herring. It is a red herring. Yes, it does some very powerful, way cool, get jiggy with it kind of stuff, and able to do some things. But I'll tell you, a gun in the hand of a criminal is evil. A gun in the hand of a civil citizen is a protection. If you don't know who you're selling your gun to because you haven't done a background check, you don't know what's going to happen with that gun. You have no clue. So, and you don't know who built the gun. I would say our priority for my mission is about focus on the behavior, look at the behavior, and what we need to do before we get a piece of technology that gives us a false sense of security that we can go do things that we shouldn't have been doing in the first place. Tony, this may be rubbing you, and I apologize if it's rubbing you, but here's my concern. I know that there are some people that are in line to get this device that already have a track record of causing harm online. and they already have and there's many that have many aliases that are going to be getting this. And now they're equipped to cause greater harm to a greater audience of people because they have tools to now backtrack and hide. So evil has been propelled to do more evil. And that's not just conjecture. That's evidence-based. I see these people causing this harm. I have people reporting to me the harm that they're doing. And now they're going to be equipped to cause more. I don't associate myself with that. I will do everything in my power to help people with their behavior. Oh, gosh. I'm not saying names, Tony. I'm just talking about technology and behavior and process. So if people want to make any connections, and that's my whole mission, Tony. It's about a defense. You need to have a defensive strategy. Like I said to Eva last night, people get anxiety when people just show up to their house. Well, what's the defense to stop people coming to your house? Well, then have motion sensor based water sprinklers out front that people will get the message if they come to your house unannounced, they're going to get wet. So you have a defense. You have a barrier that I'm going to say, here are my rules, and I'm going to have a repellent that once you cross that boundary, there's going to be something to push you back. So you either make it the phone call or you risk getting wet. And that's okay. If you make it to my doorstep after being wet and you ring my doorbell, well, there's going to be a 12-volt battery charged to the floor mat you're standing on. You're going to get a shock. I don't know why gun shops have not been banned yet. Gun shops have a legal right in the United States to exist, and they abide by the laws. And if you're not a Second Amendment person that supports my ability to defend myself, if you are a person in my broadcast right now that doesn't agree with the Second Amendment right for me to defend myself, leave. Leave. Because I've had to defend my family repeatedly, and I am blessed and thanked for the fact that I have access to that weapon, and I've had the ability to discharge it to defend my frickin' family from monsters that are in this world. I would be dead if I didn't have that right. So if you don't believe in that right, get the heck out of here. Because you're basically telling me I deserve to die to rescue your frickin' kids. That makes me sick. Makes me sick. I'm out there rescuing parents' children, trying to get to their kids, and these predators come to me, want to take my life, and you're saying, you're not worth it. Then your kids are not worth it. Your kids aren't worth crap. It infuriates me. Infuriates me. Probably likely a troll. Somebody had that. I had a conversation with somebody like that, and I was like, you're so basically your political position, you're telling me, Ryan, you should die. You just need to die. Shut up. Just shut up, Ryan. Don't worry about those kids. I won't worry about your kid. I won't protect your kid. I won't let you know your kid's doing this stuff. Let them go down that toilet. And let those predators get their teeth into them. And they do. And they traffic them. And they abuse them. Hey, Shannon. All right. I'm going to Periscope down. Everybody have a great day. If those people are... Oh, man. We're doing this again. Oh, I don't know if you folks know this. When you have people come in that are saying greetings in multiple languages, that is a bot. I don't know if you've seen that. Maybe people have told you that. But the Merhaba and Chows are all sex bots coming back in. Woohoo! So go clean out your followers. I'm worrying about my kids because I don't those bad guys to buy one. I'm worrying about my kids. I don't know what you're saying, Sailho. I don't know what you're saying. It's my responsibility to worry about my kid, and I take my responsibility very seriously. And I have a plan. I have a defense. Yeah, my kid. My kid is my responsibility. My kid is my responsibility, and I take that responsibility quite seriously. And I'm prepared. I'm equipped. And when things happen, I am prepared. I am equipped. And they have happened. And I've been prepared and equipped. And the people that come to cause me harm, they may be harmed. Because I will defend my family. I live in a state, in a country, that has the castle doctrine. Oh, here's another law that nobody reads. Here's another law that nobody knows about. They don't understand what the castle doctrine actually means and what it's capable of doing in defense of my property and my home and my life. And I will stand on that one. Absolutely, Jennifer. Not many people know banning gun shops will not make these weapons. Oh, so how many criminals are buying guns from a gun shop? Oh my gosh, be serious. Be serious. That's called a straw man. That's called a straw man argument. You're going to build something up. Criminals are not doing. Do criminals obey the law? Salho, do criminals obey the law? I mean, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. So how many criminals obey the law? Do you understand? Have you ever heard of the word logic? Criminals don't obey the law. There wouldn't be any crime if there weren't criminals. People believe if they do something long enough, it becomes... That is correct. That's called rationalization. It becomes rationalization and ignorance. That's very true, Synergon. That's very true. But I understand. And occasionally we have people that come into my broadcast that do not understand critical thinking skills. It's exactly right, Jennifer Briggs. Gun shops are for the non-criminals. Gun shops are for the non-criminals. Right. So it's illegal to buy opiates. Isn't that amazing? Opium is not dispensed through the pharmacy. But we have an opium epidemic. Shut down all the pharmacies. But that's not where they're getting the opium from. They're like people. So occasionally we have people that come in that are, they don't have critical thinking. They don't understand logic. And they don't understand logical fallacies, as I pointed out a straw man argument just a moment ago. They don't even know what a straw man is. They probably think it's some scarecrow to scare animals away from the forest or whatever. They don't understand this. And that's a problem of many people, that they've been so indoctrinated they don't know that broken thinking is a thing. And I encourage people to, let's stop this logical fallacy argumentation and let's talk about the point. Don't try to distract it. It's when you speak, trolls get their feet stepped on. Well, that's true. That's true, because they have to react. They have to emote. They're going to respond. Their behavior is going to respond because they want to come back and go, "Wow, they got butt." It's like, I don't care about your butt. Your thinking is broken. I don't need to address broken thinking. I don't need your red herrings or straw mans. I don't need that. Let's talk about the point. Criminals don't obey the law. So you shutting down a gun store is not going to have any effect on the criminals, because the criminals are going to still commit crime. Anyway, so I'm going to power down. I caution you, make sure to keep your priority about focusing your behavior. What you say, how you say it, when you say it, where you say it, because the internet is public. It is permanent. It is bound by a contract. Someone called trying to challenge his logic. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Sooner Gone. Yeah, I can imagine that would have been funny with Simon. Simon is very funny. I love going to Simon's broadcast and being the logic bot and saying, "You stupid moron." I love Simon. Simon and Gab are just kind of my way to mental freedom. So I'm powered down. Watch your behavior. Check your behavior. Internet is public and permanent. In fact, you may not understand where it's all going. I'm here. It's public. It's permanent. Don't be surprised when it pops up somewhere else. Yes, he is. He is very calm and factual. So I am not calm and factual. No, I am not calm. I'm factual. I am medicated. I am caffeinated. I am steroided. I am medically compromised. Just side note. The chemical process I'm going through right now, my wife said to me, "This is unbelievable, honey, that most people chemo knocks people out. You're like on fire." Oh gosh, am I hopped up? Yes, I'm totally hopped up. She said most people chemo is just whacking the snot out of them, but this just lets us know how sick you really were. This lets us know how sick you really were, because going through this now and some of the stuff that's going on with you. Make the text black on the bottom. That was funny. That was funny. That was funny. That was really funny. So my wife says to me that this just lets us know how debilitating that was, the cancer. And so I woke up this morning. I didn't sleep a lot, but I slept more. And I said, "Wife, come over here." And I go, "Look, touch." So my tumors, so the tumor in my arm is now about the size, squirrels and shots of espresso. Absolutely, Tony. And chipmunks, yeah. And snake holes. That the one in my arm is about the size of a pea when it was the size of a walnut before. The one on my neck is gotten much smaller. The ones that are around my jaw, which have been hurting for eating, have gotten smaller. And I'm just sitting here sweating like a son of a gun. But I'm like, and I'm going to have to go take a walk. I have to go take a walk because I'm so hopped up. But my wife is like, "Look, this just lets us know how really invasive this disease was in your body, because as you're going through the fight, look at all the energy you have." I'm like, I'm loving it. I mean, I'm not loving it, but I am so happy to finally be on what I believe to be a path of recovery. And I'm just in the first stages, people. I'm just in the first stages. I just did my first round of aggressive treatment. Next is 4 days in the hospital. I agree. Amen, Jesus. God's sovereign. And I don't want to be deluded that it's gonna. I'm not holding out false hope. Seriously, how criminals are sourcing weapons. So how does a drug addict get drugs? Sailho, how does a drug addict get drugs? Do you see how this is like a line of thinking that's. How does a thief steal? How does a liar lie? I mean, how does a carpenter get a piece of wood? It's just silly. So you're under the false illusion that if you take something away, that people won't find access to it. That's your false narrative. But that's all right. I get this. This is probably somebody who is very young, who has not had much reading under their belt yet. They don't understand critical thinking. They don't get it. So my health, I'm in the beginning stages of this 6-month journey. I'm not under any illusion that this is what it's going to be like forever. But right now, I'm pretty darn happy as to what I'm going through, even with the lack of sleep and the nauseousness and stuff. Can I educate you? Yeah. Go read Plato's Republic. You want to learn about critical thinking? Go read Plato, the Republic. It's a great book. It's a great book, and it will help you understanding where critical thinking comes from. It deals with logic, and logic is a very important thing when you want to have conversations with people because opposites cannot both be true. So here's an example that if I am driving 75 miles an hour and the speed limit is 35 miles an hour, that cannot be with the law, can't be approved by the law and against the law. So if there's a speed limit sign that says 35 miles an hour and I'm driving 75 miles an hour, it can't be in compliance with the law when I'm driving 75 miles an hour or in violation of the law. It can't be both. I'm either breaking the law or I'm not breaking the law. It's 35, I'm driving 75. I either am breaking it or I'm not breaking it. Unfortunately, in this world, people will try to say things that will make it okay that they can justify violating the law. That's called moral relativism. Moral relativism has infected so many people's thinking that they have abandoned the truth in understanding absolute. They don't get the absolute. The color black is a description for something is the absence of all light. White is the description of all-inclusive light. Black cannot also be all light. It's not possible. Those are distinctly different things. Mr. Troll has 0 followers. Oh, wow. Well, that's good. Wow. So that's a way that's a non-existent. So I am talking to vapor is what you're telling me. That's what you're telling me. I'm talking to vapor. There we go. I'm talking to vapor. So I will abandon talking to vapor. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Jennifer, for pointing that out. I'm going to go stroll because I need to stroll. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So Plato, well, it's actually Socrates. I'm not discounting Plato's Credo. I'm talking about the Socratean. I can do that in just a moment before I take a walk, Dawn. So when I go off, I will go up here. Socrates has the 3-step filter. Is the information good? Is it true? And is it helpful? That's the 3-tier of providing information. Hey, I want to tell you something. Awesome. Is it good? I think it's good. Well, is it true? Well, I don't know if it's true. Well, is it going to be beneficial? No, I don't think it's beneficial. Sure, you can join. Yeah. Yeah, you can totally join. Dawn, Tony's going to say hi too. Or unless Dawn already left. So, everybody, I'm going to power down. Everybody have a great day. And I will see you. I'll see you when I come back. Take care, everybody.